The unseen tapestry. Elara, an architect whose career had once burned with the vibrant ambition of a supernova, now felt like a dying ember. The ubiquitous glass and steel towers that punctuated the city's skyline were her monuments, yet they offered her no solace. Each pristine facade, each meticulously rendered blueprint, seemed to only underscore a pervasive emptiness. She was perpetually caught in the cacophony of a bustling metropolis, yet profoundly isolated, adrift in a sea of her own making. Her late 30s were not a gateway to newfound wisdom, but rather a stubborn, unyielding wall of disillusionment. She was, quite simply, stuck in a rut. The new project landed on her desk with the thud of an ancient tome, the revitalization of the old quarter. Specifically, the demolition of a dilapidated, unremarkable structure known simply as the Old Mill House, to make way for a sleek, multi-purpose retail complex. Elara scanned the brief with a detached cynicism, another relic to be swept away by the relentless tide of progress. She envisioned the future, more chrome, more concrete, another soulless monument to commerce. There was a particular, almost imperceptible stain on the building's blueprint, a faint, almost chimerical outline near its foundations, which her colleagues dismissed as an archaic drafting error. But it caught her eye, a tiny, unsettling anomaly in an otherwise straightforward task. Her first site visit to the Old Mill House was less an inspection, and more a descent into an urban archaeological dig. The air inside was thick with the scent of damp earth and forgotten memories, a stark contrast to the sterile, climate-controlled offices she usually inhabited. Dust motes danced in the slivers of light that pierced through grime-streaked windows, illuminating the decaying remnants of a life long past. Peeling wallpaper splintered floorboards, and the ghostly imprints of vanished furniture whispered tales she couldn't yet decipher. The building was an anomaly in the city's ever-accelerating pulse, an anachronism on the brink of erasure. The building's public records offered little beyond the mundane, a series of owners, vague dates of construction and renovation, and a recent period of vacancy stretching back decades, nothing to suggest a deeper narrative. Yet, as Elara ran her gloved hand along a rough-hewn wooden beam in what must have once been a workshop, she felt a subtle give. Curiosity, a flicker of the passion she thought long extinguished, spurred her on. With a small pry bar from her toolbox, she gently, almost reverently, worked at the timber. Behind it lay not dust or debris, but a concealed compartment. Inside, nestled amongst dried leaves and cobwebs, was a slim, leather-bound journal, and a small, intricately carved wooden bird. The journal's script was delicate, flowing and almost illegible in places, but undeniably beautiful. It belonged to a woman named Anya, dating back to the late 1930s. Anya, as Elara soon pieced together, was not a resident, but a skilled woodcarver, a refugee from a distant war who had found sanctuary and purpose within the very walls Elara was slated to destroy. Anya's entries spoke of the camaraderie of fellow artisans, the shared struggle for survival, and the profound solace found in creation during an era of immense global upheaval. The small wooden bird, the very one Elara had found, was described in one entry as her first flight of hope in this new land. Elara's evenings, once consumed by mundane domesticity and the flickering blue light of a screen, were now dedicated to unraveling Anya's story. She frequented dusty public archives, spent hours poring over old city directories, and even tracked down distant relatives of individuals Anya had mentioned. The faint outline on the blueprint, she realized, was not an error, but the ghost of a hidden basement, a communal workspace for the artisans. It was a space, Anya's journal revealed, where creativity thrived amidst adversity, a crucible where art was forged from resilience. The journal also hinted at a grand collaborative piece, a tapestry of wood they had all contributed to, a massive, hidden installation intended as a testament to their collective spirit, and a silent beacon of hope during dark times. Anya's final entries were filled with a growing sense of dread, as the shadows of war encroached even upon their adopted city, forcing the artists to scatter. The tapestry, it seemed, had been left unfinished, concealed within the very fabric of the building, a forgotten monument. As Elara delved deeper, she realized that the Old Mill House wasn't just a building, it was a living archive. Its walls held the echoes of whispered conversations, the faint scent of sawdust and oil paints, the lingering essence of lives intertwined. She discovered that Anya had not only been a carver but also a mentor to a young, exceptionally talented painter named Leo. Leo, whose vibrant, almost defiant self-portraits Anya often described, had been tragically lost during the war, his potential extinguished too soon. A poignant entry described Anya's grief and her unwavering belief in the unseen beauty that persisted even in despair. The culmination of Elara's investigation led her back to the mill house, this time armed with blueprints, historical maps, and an entirely new perspective. She found the entrance to the hidden basement behind a cleverly concealed bookshelf, exactly where Anya's later entries suggested. The air in the cavernous space was even heavier, imbued with a sense of reverence, and there it was, spanning an entire wall, the tapestry of wood. It wasn't a literal tapestry, but an elaborate, three-dimensional mural carved into the timber, depicting intertwined trees, resilient flowers pushing through concrete, and the soaring flight of birds. It was breathtaking, a testament to collective hope and artistry, but the most profound discovery came last. Tucked away in a small, almost invisible alcove, was a final addition to the tapestry, a meticulously carved portrait of a young man with soulful eyes, Leo. Beneath it, carved in delicate, almost hidden script, was a single line from Anya. Though the brush falls, the canvas endures. Look closer, Elara. Elara froze. The name. Her own name. How could Anya have known? Then it hit her like a physical blow. Elara, Anya, Leo. The names, the artistry, the shared sense of being an outsider seeking beauty. Her grandmother had been an artist, a quiet, melancholic woman who rarely spoke of her past. She had shown Elara a small, intricately carved wooden bird when she was a child, telling her it was, a quote, family heirloom, a symbol of hope. Elara had dismissed it then, taking it at face value as a simple memento. But now, the pieces clicked into place. Anya was her grandmother, Leo was her great-uncle. The unseen tapestry was not just a mural, but the very fabric of her own family history, a legacy she had been unknowingly tasked with uncovering. A profound shift occurred within Elara. The disillusionment that had shrouded her for years began to dissipate, replaced by a surge of purpose. The city's relentless pursuit of the new suddenly seemed less absolute. She understood now that progress didn't have to mean erasure. It could mean preservation, integration, and the weaving of old stories into new narratives. Her report to the city council was not a standard demolition brief. Instead, it was a passionate plea to preserve the old mill house, to transform it into a cultural heritage center, a place where the city's artistic past could be celebrated, and new generations of artists could find their voice. It was a battle, a bureaucratic labyrinth she fought with newfound tenacity. She presented the journal, the wooden bird, the photographs, and the undeniable beauty of the carved mural. She argued for the historical significance, the human stories, the unseen tapestry that lay beneath the surface. Ultimately, her efforts paid off, albeit in a compromise. The retail complex would be built, but the old mill house would remain, renovated and transformed. Elara oversaw its meticulous restoration, not as a demolition expert, but as a curator of memory. She designed the new complex to subtly complement the old building, a modern frame for a timeless masterpiece. Elara found herself, for the first time in years, truly invigorated. Her work was no longer about erecting cold, indifferent structures, but about breathing life into forgotten spaces, connecting past and present. The architect who had once viewed herself as merely building blocks, now saw herself as weaving threads, contributing to the ever-expanding, unseen tapestry of human stories. She had found her purpose not in creating something entirely new, but in shedding light on the enduring beauty of what already existed, hidden in plain sight. And in doing so, she had finally begun to turn over a new leaf, seeing the world, and her place in it, with fresh, hopeful eyes. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.